by the way. I'm near the Arboretum, so this is why it's a huge garden, and there's a top garden as well. If you're in Budapest, you can check it out. It's very beautiful. So we have people in our communities, people who have converted to Islam as well. The situation with people who converted to Islam usually, so we've already spoken about born Muslims and the fact that, you know, everybody practices their religion on a different level and have a different idea about Islam and kind of the values within that. Some things are not super specific for people. We need to learn more. When it comes to convert Muslims, there are going to be those who, for example, we're in Hungary right now. So native people who are convert Muslims. So if you're in different countries, then replace your country here, you know. In Hungary, we have Hungarians who converted to Islam, so they have their family here usually. And we also have people who are not Hungarian, and their family don't live here at all. So there we have like a different set of issues as well. First of all, if someone converts to Islam, they're on a journey of learning. They should slowly get to know things better. You should invite them to the community. You should be welcoming. You should tell them that if they need something, they can say so. Maybe we can help them. Provide a place where you guys as a community can communicate. So right now, for example, we have a forum, Muslim Forum Budapest or something like that. And in this forum, anyone can write about basically anything. So if somebody needs help, they could potentially write there and ask for some advice or ask for physically some help, and inshallah there will be people who can be there for you, which is, I think, really, really useful. It's sort of the purpose of this forum is to unite the ummah within Budapest, and I think we have other members from different cities as well. So when it comes to people who are not Hungarians and converted to Islam, they are, you know, interested, curious. They also don't have their family here, so they have this sort of similar issues in life, similar life situation to people who are foreigners in Hungary who are born Muslim, right? But because they also don't have their family here, so they may like to connect more with the community, to, you know, have those friends, have that support circle, but also to learn more about Islam. So a lot of the time for converts, one of the biggest things that they enjoy out of a Muslim community actually is learning about Islam, which I think is true for many of us who've been a Muslim for a long time or who have been born into Islam as well. But that's not the priority for everyone, but this is something that can be very useful for them. So creating a space where people can ask about Islam and gain that knowledge, which is sometimes like, I would say, a more basic level of knowledge, because obviously they're just introduced to different ideas that they didn't know about before, or, you know, specifics about how to fast Ramadan. They don't have the practice, so giving them practical tips and as friends and meeting in the community and discussing these things is very useful. In Muslim Sisters of Budapest, which is another, let's say, society, another community, we tend to organize discussions based on current events. So for example, if we have Ramadan coming up, we will have a Ramadan prep session, or during Ramadan, more tips for the month, or if there's Eid coming up, then discussion regarding that, why the day is significant, what happened historically, how to participate, sort of a thing. So it can be nice information. So this is like a good tip in a community to have these things. And then we have Hungarians, or the native converts, who will be people who, for example, might have family here, but you don't know the family background. And because they convert to Islam, it causes a lot of conflict for them, because their families are not necessarily happy about that. There might be a lot of internal issues, some arguments within the family, because some, for example, in Hungary, but this is actually kind of, I feel like this is globally in the West, many people don't know much about Islam. They have heard recently about about the terror attacks that happened over the last couple decades, and they associate this with normal people, normal human beings, which is really annoying and very frustrating, but it is what it is. So for sure those parents will be very concerned. Of course, like if you knew that your child converted to some crazy religion, you would be concerned. I would also be concerned. But they have no clue what Islam actually is. They had something which is probably not very useful, because even in the media, anytime you hear the word Islam, terrorist, migrant problem, it's always some topic that is an issue. It's always a problem. It's never a solution. It's never like, oh, Muslim community handed out a lot of food packages over Ramadan and feeding the poor. There is no article about those events, which is all the more reason why for minority groups it's really important for us to do community outreach, because this way we can interact with more people and also basically drum up some good press, because unfortunately we've been pulled down, let's say, quite a lot by outsiders. They frame the narrative around us, and they control the narrative, and they tell the world about who we are, instead of us controlling the narrative and be like, hello, we're Muslims, we do this, we're quite chill actually, very friendly group, do you want to have a picnic? Like, it's a very different reality. So it's so funny, and I love it when people talk to me and then they say, oh, actually, like, I enjoyed getting to know you because you're so different from what I imagined. I was like, what do you mean? What did you imagine? So then people convert to Islam, and it can be a lot of arguments, it can be a lot of issues. So it can be very difficult, the journey to become a Muslim. I know several people who struggled in the beginning stages of becoming a Muslim because of that. You don't really want to have these kind of huge fights and arguments with your family and having a strain on your relationship. And Allah also says that Islam is meant to be an ease for you, and it is. On the long term, being a Muslim, I think, is probably like the best decision anyone could ever make. The more practicing you are, the better your life is. Or sometimes people ask me like, I don't know, nowadays people tell me like, you seem so calm or relaxed or chill, or you seem so patient or peaceful or whatever. I'm like, yeah, because the more you know, the more you practice, the better your life is, and it just, or at least the better you can handle life. I think the more you grow, the more difficult tests that Allah sends your way, the more difficult challenges in life you have to face. But quite frankly, I would say that with very difficult challenges come the right set of skills for you to handle them better, and being a stronger person in faith helps no matter what you're doing. So no matter what circumstance you're in. But obviously people don't know this. So for converts, it's like a very specific, or reverse converts, it's a very specific set of issues that they have to face that they might not be ready for. Another thing is like, you suddenly become Muslim and everyone's like, how come you become Muslim? Like, what is this? What does it mean? What is hijab? What is this? What is that? And you don't even have the answers necessarily as a new Muslim, because you're new. You don't know. You're not someone who's been trained for it. Let's say you're doing taekwondo or God knows what, because I'm walking next to a school where they usually do some kind of like karate. I don't know if it's karate or whatever they're doing, but anyway, if you're doing such a thing, you have to be trained for many years before you can teach someone else. Like, you're only like the first grade student. You're not meant to be a maths professor if you just started learning maths. Like, you don't even know how to add 2 and 2 together. It's okay, no problem, but like, you don't have to, be the one to be the professor to teach people. And this is something really difficult. All of a sudden you need some sort of skills to explain your religion. You're only just learning about it yourself as well. And that can be very difficult, because all of a sudden you're bombarded with questions that maybe you're not even ready for. You need time to learn certain things and then progress through more. For example, asking a new convert, why are the people committing these crimes? Like, why are people committing these terror attacks or something like that? As a person who's been I've grown up as a Muslim, I could probably answer that by now, but probably only because I studied international relations, so that we had some classes on terrorism. But otherwise, who could possibly answer this question? Really, if somebody came up to you and was like, why are your people doing this? You're like, my people? That have nothing to do with those people. I have nothing to do with those people. They use my God to create huge problems across the globe and to take away human life, which is the most sacred in Islam. If you were to take away the life of a person, it would be like you've taken away the life of the whole humanity. That's how weighty this crime is, this sin is in front of the eyes of Allah. So for us to then have to explain why a Muslim would do such a thing is beyond human capacity. So of course you can learn how to answer these questions, and that's helpful, and you should do that for sure. But when you're new to Islam, like, it should not be your job to teach people about Islam. Your job is to take it easy, stay chill, and you learn what you need to learn at this stage in your life. So there's a lot of internal conflict going on because you don't have some information yet. People can question and ask questions that are so difficult that might make you question whether or not you made the right decision, or wait, what is this in Islam? I didn't know about it, and it can be very challenging. But also this kind of conflict with the family of origin, how long that goes on for, and also what kind of family of origin do you have? And this is relevant to any Muslim. So I would say, if you're talking to people and giving dawah, always ask about context. Yesterday we had a whole team meeting with the volunteers of Muslim Youth Association, this group and this organization, and we're talking a lot about that.